What's up, gang? Kawaii50 here with another fake Grand Order video, ready to talk to you about a Santa servant that I'm actually very excited to see in the game. And you'll know that's true if you've been watching my videos, because I've been recommending her as an ally for a very long time. That servant is, of course, Santa Nightingale, a surprisingly effective, budget-friendly damage dealer or supporter that you can get in the upcoming Christmas event. We're going to be going over craft essences, potential allies, as well as command codes, and since I'm going to be looking at Nightingale as more of a supporting helper, those sections might be a little more different than my standard fare. So hopefully it still ends up helping you out, and if it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe, because that helps me out. Nightingale's deck holds 2 quick, 2 arts, and 1 buster card with an AoE quick noble Phantasm. Her max HP of 11,080 is pretty beefy considering that she is a 4-star freebie servant, and her max attack of 9,858 is nice as well, something that you're actually going to likely see going a bit higher. Her NP per hit is solid at a 0.6, and considering she has multiple hits on her quick and arts cards, as well as a potential to crit, you should be seeing some noble Phantasm gain on her. And her star absorption, of course, is as oppressive as it is for any archer, sitting at 153. Odds are, unless you've got the right servants or the right craft essences equipped, Nightingale's gonna be eating your stars. Santa Nightingale's first skill is Assault Medicine rank C. This removes 1 buff from all enemies and 1 debuff from all allies. It also recovers all allies' HP by 1,000 to 3,000. A fairly potent heal if you ask me. This is a solid heal skill that will help you in longer fights. However, I still recommend you max it last. Considering the nature of Fake Grand Order, where we really want to deal as much damage as possible, it can kind of lower the effectiveness of healing skills, though with any of Nightingale's skills, you're going to want to get them up to 10-10-10, as with any supporter, as soon as possible. This is just going to be the lowest priority on our list. Nightingale's second skill is Nurse of Steel Holy Knight rank A. This gives an ally an instance of Guts that lasts for 3 turns, and also increases their buff removal resist. Most importantly, it increases that ally's Noble Phantasm strength by 20 to 30% for 3 turns. So if you have an ally that's capable of NP looping on their own, or even charging up their Noble Phantasm, again with a following crit chain, you are actually going to see this buff really work for you. I definitely recommend that you max this second in order to help your allies maximize the damage of their Noble Phantasms. And it's even targetable, so you can go ahead and set it on Nightingale as well, if you're so inclined. And Nightingale's final skill is the bell which the angel rings on the Holy Knight rank EX. This gives all allies a 10 to 20% attack boost for 3 turns, and a 20 to 30% critical strength boost for 3 turns. This is the skill I definitely recommend you max first. This is a souped up charisma that really helps critical damage dealers hit their peak potential. This is the main reason that I am very excited for Nightingale, though all of her skills are honestly pretty good. I am very happy with her. But focus on this first, because especially with the ally section, we're going to be pairing her with some critical damage dealers. For that pen skill, go with mana loading. The 10 to 20% NP starting is good on absolutely everybody. I don't need to say more. Santa Nightingale's Noble Phantasm is Assault Medicine Full Burst Party. This deals damage to all enemies, and it's going to hit the maximum damage potential because you're going to be getting her to NP 5. It also removes all offensive buffs from all enemies, but also removes all instances of curse, burn, or poison from them at a demerit. Honestly, if you're not running a curse, burn, or poison team, this really isn't a big deal. I struggle to even call it a demerit in all honesty, because most of the time I don't really think it's going to end up affecting you. It also has a very useful overcharge effect, where it decreases the defense of all enemies for 3 turns by 10 to 20%. Ideally, if you're using a Noble Phantasm chain, you're going to want to chuck this second and follow it up with your big heavy-hitting Noble Phantasm. You'll at least get some defense reduction out of it. Though, of course, if you want to use this as a farming Phantasm, you can. You just need a max limit broken Kaleidoscope more likely, or someone able to charge up that NP. But trust me, Nightingale is far more effective as a supporter than a farmer. So who do we pair Nightingale with? Well, with her nature as a supporter, the answer is honestly pretty easy and pretty broad. You generally want to pair Nightingale with servants able to increase their own critical damage and benefit from crits, as well as having a noble Phantasm that deals damage. This way, they can benefit from both of Nightingale's powerful supportive skills. Honestly, you can even use servants that don't necessarily have a damaging noble Phantasm, but the critical damage boost is a must. I know what recently released boy you're probably thinking of pairing Santa Nightingale with. More importantly, if optimal, you want to pair her with riders as well as archers. And here's why. With a lot of servants, you're going to need some way for them to gather all those critical stars that you probably want to be made, because you'll need them to crit. If you have a rider or an archer, they already have a high star weight, so even without a buff, they're going to be able to compete with Nightingale for stars, though upping their star gather rate as high as possible is still recommended. You can of course pair Nightingale with riders such as Red Hair and Quetzalcoatl that can take advantage of this. And when it comes to the archers, a couple of recommendations I've got are the beloved Billy the Kid and of course Jeanne d'Arc Summer version. If you're using Nightingale as a support, her best craft essence is a no-brainer. That is the Fragment of 2030. Still one of the best craft essences ever created in the game. This is going to grant you stars per turn, and those stars you are going to use to crit. Of course, you can also choose to play into Nightingale's pretty powerful heal. In that case, you're going to want to give her Gentle Affection, increasing her healing effectiveness by 15 to 20%, allowing her first skill to heal even more in prolonged fights. Though you might also be tempted to use Santa Nightingale as your primary damage dealer, and that is absolutely fine as well. You're just going to want to look for things like quick card effectiveness, critical strength, and that starting NP gauge is also very, very helpful. For a craft essence recommendation, Princess's Pilgrimage actually has all three of those things bundled in one. So if you have one sitting in your box, chuck that on Santa Nightingale and you'll be good to go. And of course, we have command codes. And when it comes to command codes, I really felt we should continue playing into Nightingale's supportive nature. Maiden of Orleans is my absolute choice pick. Once every 3 turns, this allows Nightingale to recover 1000 HP when attacking using the engraved card. You're like, Justin, I get it. It heals, but it only heals Nightingale. Well, Nightingale isn't going to be healing anybody if she's dead, so being able to keep her alive with just specifically an attack is going to be very helpful to ensure she continues healing your team as her skills end up cooling down. When it comes to healing the team, I definitely recommend Bride of White Rose. This recovers the party's HP by 200 when attacking using the engraved card. It ain't much, but honestly every little bit counts. We're also using Nightingale as a supporter when it comes to critical damage, and we would like command codes that reflect that as well. Crest of the Stone Bird is my premier pick for that. This increases the party's critical damage by 5% when Nightingale attacks using the engraved card. Of course, this is something you definitely want to use when it comes to mixed decks, not necessarily attacking with just Nightingale in particular. It will increase your critical damage, but likely you're trying to benefit an ally. And finally, when it comes to any supporter, BB Slot is always a fun addition to chuck on them. This can either gain 5 critical stars, recover HP by 500, or increase debuff resistance by 10% for 1 turn. Any of these effects are great when they pop, though likely you'll be fishing for the 5 critical stars, if anything. Overall, gang, Santa Nightingale is a very solid, if unorthodox, support that is going to be a great addition to the team of newbies as well as veterans alike. Santa Nightingale has powerful supportive abilities that either affect the whole party or can specifically be targeted to whoever needs them. So that allows Nightingale to be either a damage dealer herself or provide some support to the team. She is a freebie servant though, so don't expect her to necessarily be as effective as a Merlin or a Skahawk Scotty or a Tamamo no Mai, or gods forbid, a Castoria. But Nightingale is still valuable enough that you're gonna want to get copies of her and keep her on your team. She will definitely be helpful, especially on crit teams. But of course I want to know what you all think, so let me know if you're excited for Santa Nightingale down in the comments section below. Let me know if there are any particular allies, craft essences, or command codes you would have chucked on her. And let me know who your favorite Santa servant is as well. I know Santa Quetzalcoatl is very popular, and I'm kind of upset that we're not getting a rerun of her, and also probably not getting a rerun of a certain other Santa that is going to be coming out next year. But hey, at least try to go for those servants, and try to get them whenever they pop up. Just remember, a lot of them are limited, and sometimes limited really means limited. Anyways, gang, this is Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next video.